Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. I'm with Liz Wilcox. I'm such a fan, so I'm fanning out now. She's incredible. She does everything to do with email marketing. In fact, her backstory is even better, and I won't give away what all of that is. But welcome to I'm building my list. Now what? How to turn followers into customers. And really, I think that this is such an incredible webinar opportunity because this is like what Liz does. She helps everybody do make it easy and palatable to do email marketing. And I think that there's so much to be done there. And I know that it's a scary thing for a lot of people to like jump into and what to do. And for me, Liz really made it palatable and easy for me to like jump into it. And I thank her so much for that. So I will hand it over to Liz and yeah. Um, Feel free to just go for it, Liz.
I'm
Thank you
going
so
for it,
much.
Danny. I'll save you the awkwardness. I'll just start talking. Hey friends, I'm Liz Wilcox, and what Danny doesn't know about me is I actually was a nanny before I started my online business. I'm not even kidding you. I thought it was the best job that I would ever have, with the best boss I could ever have. And then I started my own business. And, like all of you, I realized like maybe I'm my best boss and maybe this is my dream job. So I'd love to hear in the chat if any of you are currently, sending emails to your clients or, potential clients. Danny said that most of us probably not. But I'd love to get a feel. But I think this is probably going to be a crash course in email marketing. Okay, Jessica, definitely are. Yay, awesome. So I think this will be a crash course, like you said, like I'm building my audience. Now what? In the components of email marketing. And I'm also going to give you, a welcome sequence that you can take and make your own. And I'll walk through like the 4 emails. I love that, Ashley. Monthly newsletters. Ashley, definitely. We got more than one Ashley in the house. Shout out to the 80s babies. My name's Liz. I get it. So let's get into it. Let me just share my main agenda for you. I want to just give you a few quick reminders about email marketing. I want to share with you my email staircase framework so you can actually like, oh, this is what I'm doing with email. I'm not just sending monthly newsletters because that's what people tell me to do. I actually know why email works and how my newsletters play into my sales ecosystem. I want to share with you how to make real connections because that's the power of email is like really getting to know people so that you can actually help them, right? And then I want to simplify the selling process for you. And not to brag, but I've given this talk since 2018. I've given it quite a few. This is actually my second time giving it today. So if you have questions, you're not going to trip me up. Please ask in the chat. I have the chat open over here. I'm happy to pause and, make this as helpful as possible for who the heck is actually here, right? Here are some objectives I have for you. I want you to learn, like I said, the 3 major components of email. I want you to feel confident and stop bumping into my mic. I want you to feel confident that you know how email works. And I want you to start taking action. And this says weekly newsletters, but with this, with an agency model, you probably don't need weekly newsletters. I just forgot that this slide said it. Uh, but you do need, I would say, at least once a month. And we'll talk about that. But here's the disclaimer. You're a creative human. Don't be afraid to deviate, just like I deviated from that slide according to your gut. I don't know you. I don't know your business. I don't know your client base, and I don't know how you built your list. So, what I'm going to share today, I want you to filter through you and do what feels right for you and your company. Quick intro. I already mentioned I was a nanny. I don't talk about that enough. I actually really loved my time there. And the father of the child I used to nanny for, actually, I mean, this kid's 21 now. And he texted me the other day and said, "Hey, Zach's really going through a tough time. Can you text him?" I haven't worked for them in over a decade, so that felt really, really good. And I mentioned that because I'm gonna talk a lot about connection, and I feel like that's one of my superpowers, and that's what I wanna share with you, how to truly connect with your potential clients via email. So you can see here, I've built many businesses. I've had 4 businesses over the years. You name it, I've tried to sell it via email. I started off as an RV travel blog. This is a stinky slinky. So if I can sell this, surely we can sell what you're selling because it's a lot more valuable than what I was doing over there. I had a digital summit company. I now teach email marketing and I even own, even though I'm in Florida, I own TexasSwagger.com, and it is a retail e-commerce shop for Texas swag. What else? So I've done it all. And I want to share with you a few of these pictures. As you can see, this is me in my RV giving the same talk back in like 2020 or something. And my internet was so bad that I had to download my slides and use them on my phone and just like hold them up to the camera like this. And so I mention all this and I share these to let you know that if Danny, let's pause. If Danny pins me, you can see it better. Oh, I think I can pin myself. Can you see it better now, Miss Ashley? Let me know. Um,
Yes, I
so
just pinned you on my screen. So yes, sorry. I figured
awesome.
it was a
Yeah.
personal issue, but thanks for
No,
letting me know.
I'm using some fancy software because I'm extra. So I don't actually need to share my screen. So we gotta pin me to make it bigger. Anyway, I
Yeah,
share
learn
all
something new.
these to let you know, when I was starting out with email, I had almost zero resources. I actually didn't even have internet on my phone or in my RV because I was living in my RV. And so if you think, oh, I don't have enough quite yet, um, we're going to have some very simple strategies today that you could literally do from your RV while driving down the road. It's going to be simple. And the last thing, and I know Danny said, "Oh, I'm fanning over here." Like, I'm really good at email. This is what I do day in, day out. It's why I've built 4 companies. It's been on the backbone of email. This is a screenshot, I think, from last week. I have over 11,000 people on my email list, which, in the grand scheme, isn't that impressive. But as Liz is pointing out, look at that open rate, baby. Great open rate, great click rate. And my percentage of customers, actually, I'm hosting a big sale this week. So it's now over 6,000, and over 55% of my email list have purchased from me are customers. So that is quite a bit, I think. So let's do some quick reminders. I noticed not everyone in the chat said they were doing email marketing. So let's talk about why email in the first place and why you should continue sending those monthly or weekly newsletters. Number one, you own it. Raise your hand if you were alive in 2022. And raise your hand if you remember some billionaire buying a social media platform and it imploding upon itself. No more no more sponsored ads, right? Because all the advertisers left. Uh, you know, I was alive back then. And if we had built our entire agency finding customers on this one platform, we'd probably be pretty screwed. And actually, a lot of journalists and writers, that was a huge platform for them. And now they're having to find a new place for their audience and for their content, right? And so you own your email list. It's not, a house built on other people's land, it's yours, right? Which is why it has an incredible return on investment ROI. They say for every dollar you spend with email marketing, you can get up to 40 bucks in return. I did the math last weekend when I updated these slides, and guess what? For every dollar I spent with email, I got $166 in return. And my main offer is $9. I know you guys charge a lot more than $9 for your services. At least, you're in business. I would imagine you do. My business model is a little different, but I say that to say like all of this is possible. And it's really possible because of this last bullet point. You can make real connections. And, you guys are in the family business, right? Nobody is going to book through your agency if they don't trust that you're doing the right things behind the scenes to get the right people in their homes, right? I have a unique nanny story. I found this guy on Craigslist asking for a nanny. We met at a Taco Bell. He was a single dad, a doctor. He had 2 kids by 2 mothers, and he was drowning, right? That's your audience. And he was so desperate, right, that he was on Craigslist looking for a nanny. He couldn't find this nanny service that you guys, do so well, right? But it was that he had interviewed other people, right? And I didn't have any experience, but it was that connection we made that made him say, okay, yes, I'm going to trust this stranger I met off Craigslist and at a Taco Bell to come into my home and, drive my children around and, help educate them, right? It's that I think you guys of all people like understand, it's those connections that really matter and create a lasting relationship between the nanny and the client, and you guys as the agency, really help make that connection for people. It's an awesome thing. You got like give yourself a pat on the back. Like you're doing the Lord's work for families, truly. And that's the power of email. And we can do this with email. Everyone on this slide is someone on my email list, is, a customer of mine, and I really know them. And, I'd love to hear in the chat if you've seen results from your monthly newsletters of, getting somebody on a call, or if they just hit reply and you're like, oh, I know exactly who they need, or, what type of person they need, or what type of services they need. Oh, they think they need this, but they need somebody live in, right? Like they got problems, but you don't know that unless you get them on the phone or you get them replying to email. And, that's what I've done with my email lists. And that's why I can boast, 55% customer rate, because I'm actually getting to know these people. And I think, especially in your industry, this is essential. So, this is how I look at email marketing, just a staircase. First, you have a follower, right? Maybe you're running ads. I don't know. I'd love to hear how you guys are building your list in the chat. You get them on your email list. And I think, again, this is so important, for the services you provide. Turn them into that friend. Turn them into that person that trusts you to find the right person for them, right? And then you have a customer, right? Because once they trust you, they've given you the information, you can say, oh, yeah, you need such and such. You need so and so, right? So follower, friend, customer. So the follower, I'm just going to skim through this. This isn't Jessica says they typically find followers through people that inquire via phone, email, or web form. That's great. Get them on the list, right? Then we can turn them into a friend. And here's what we need to do inside of our weekly or monthly newsletters to really help turn them into the customer, to help them make the next step. And Jessica probably does this over the phone, right? You get them on the phone. Here are some things that we need to do. Number one, we need to show that we are invested in them, right? We have a vision for them, right? My vision for you is you make money with email. And I'm making this stuff. I'm obviously never owned a nanny agency, right? But I've been a nanny, so I can imagine kind of, your vision is, you want to place the right person in the right home for the right family, something like that, right? Show how you are invested in that vision for them, right? Maybe it's even something simple like, hey, I attended a webinar on how to write better emails so I'm not wasting your time when I hit send. Here's the latest, right? That shows you're invested. Maybe it's, hey, we just went to this event. We found all, these new nannies, or we're using this new software to help match you. We updated our website for a better user experience. We hired someone new to manage the phone. So if you call, we're there. What are you doing behind the scenes that's actually showing that you're invested in your customer? Share that in your newsletter. And it might seem like they don't care, they just want XYZ. I'm telling you right now, No one is going to invest in you before you invest in them. So share how you are invested. Number two, and this one's probably the most obvious, relate to your customer, right? Relate and share relatable things. And note, I didn't say share stories. A lot of email marketers, and maybe this is why, Danny wanted me to come in, is they'll tell you to tell stories. But you run a nanny agency, and these people are looking for nannies. They don't have a lot of time, and they definitely don't have time to read a bunch of stories and try to make, sense of what you're trying to say and why you're sending them, the story. But you can relate to them. I'm wearing a Disney shirt today. I've got this like Seattle beanie on from, maybe I listen to Nirvana with this beanie on, right? I've got In Sync in the background. I have an entire year planned out. Like there's certain things that are relatable about Liz Wilcox, right? And so share those things that are relatable about you, about your brand, about your company with your subscribers. This is going to help them, you know, make a bond with you, create that friendship, start to open up that certain level of trust, right? If you have children yourself or if you've ever hired a nanny, you can share about those experiences in order to relate to those people, right? And this can be done very simply in your emails, 2 to 3 sentences at the beginning of your email. When I first hired or when I hired my first nanny, I was so nervous. I had to wear a turtleneck to to hide my hives so she wouldn't know that I was just as nervous as her. uh, you know, anyway, like, here's an article about, how hiring, how to best hire a nanny or something like that, right? It can be very, very simple. For me, I like to share, hey, my refrigerator broke, but, and I had to run to the grocery store, but I made time to write you this email. That shows relatable. What's more relatable than an appliance breaking? And it shows I'm invested. Oh, wow. She made time to write to me anyway. This person must be really invested in my success, right? They're really invested in me as a customer or potential customer. And the last thing is stay top of mind. So, of course, you have a unique business. You are not, like me, a content creator. I got to email as much as possible, right? Because there's a million and one email marketers out there. Chances are your ideal, and you guys tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, your ideal person probably isn't signed up to 10 email lists that all have nanny agencies. It might be a few, but I can't imagine, they've signed up for every single one of them on the planet, right? So you don't have to email all the time to stay top of mind, but you do need to email enough so that they know, okay, Jessica, Ashley, Danny, they're in my inbox and, now I'm ready to hire, now I'm ready to, upgrade my service, whatever. I can go to my email, I can find them very easily and I can do the next steps. That's why we need to keep emailing. We can't just, email once a quarter. Chances are they need that solution a lot more often. Any questions? And I'm asking because I'm thirsty. You guys appreciate honesty, right? Okay, and now let's talk about customer really quick. Number one, and I know this is the hardest thing and it's cringe as the kids would say, like you have to sell. I don't know, I don't know what Ashley's monthly newsletters look like. I don't know what Jessica is emailing, but if you don't tell them what you have for sale, if you don't offer your services and your packages, they're never going to know. I was at an event and someone was getting off the elevator and they were on the phone and they just walked past me and I heard him say, "Well, how was I supposed to know? She never told me." Imagine your customer saying that. Next time you think, "Oh, nobody's buying," or, you know, uh, I sent one email, nobody booked a call. You have to be the one to sell. You have to be the one sharing about your services, excuse me, about your services and your packages, etc. Like you gotta sell in that monthly newsletter. You know, I don't know what Jessica's putting in that, right? But hopefully there's an there's an entire section that outlines what people can buy from her, right? And at the end of the day, you know, don't guess with your subscribers. They're on your email list. They consented to be on the email list. Get to know them, right? Get to know your customer or your subscribers so you can, you know, talk about the packages and services that you have in a way that actually makes them see, oh yes, this is exactly what I need. So really quick, I want you to write this down. People buy from people they trust. I knew I had a break in here somewhere to drink water. If you guys ever get into presentations, have a slide like this, I'm telling you. The key is probably not to talk through it though and actually drink water. People buy from people they trust. And yes, this email staircase can work for you. Let's take a look at this. This was, oh, darn, this is the wrong slide. Hang on, friends. I know I've got one here. This was, no. I'm only semi-pro, friends. Well, I can't find it. There it is. Ta-da. Sometimes you use fancy stuff and it gets you. So this is an astrologer, obviously not an agency owner, but it is someone who takes clients, right? And they sent out a version of an email. I have a membership where I write emails for people, but they sent it out and resulted in 3 one-on-one bookings. And so, you know, maybe like this person, you need to send out emails to get people on the phone or to get bookings, right? So this email staircase framework can work for you. This is someone who is a coach. You know, I sent out an email. It got more replies than ever. Again, those connections when you're making those connections in your emails, it can result in those larger sales, which of course, as an agency owner, again, we're not talking $9 digital products, you know, that people just buy without thinking. Like you've really got to make these connections. And when you follow the email staircase, when you get those replies, it can open up those sales. That's why I wanted to show you this one is, you know, I got a reply, it led to a call, and then it led to the sale, right? I first heard it from a guy named Mike Kim who does branding. He said, you know, it's not ever about closing a sale, it's about opening a relationship. And so when you follow the email staircase, when you're really trying to make those real connections and get replies, you can open up those conversations, right? It's not about closing the sale. It's about opening a conversation. And then, you know, ... you've got a new client booked. You know, you've got a family matched. I don't know. What's the language you guys use? I'd love to know. I'm just making this up. I mean, I got educated guesses. I give myself more credit. Yeah, there was another one. Nope, that's it. I had someone, I won't pull it up because I don't have it, but there's one I always like to share. And she did, you know, very high ticket one-on-ones working with families. And she said, my weekly newsletters were the one thing that people said over and over, you know, wow, Diana is very serious about helping me. She's following up. She's sending me, you know, even though I haven't, you know, purchased yet, she's still helping me with this issue in little ways. And the consistent follow-up via emails was the one thing that let me know she was invested and made it less scary to invest in her business. All right, so remember, that's all email staircase stuff. So let's get into how we actually like start this friendship. That's with the welcome sequence, and that's kind of what we promised you today. I'm going to take one more sip of water. I swear I'm on it. Let me know if you guys have questions. Okay. So the welcome sequence, this is a great question. Let's pause. Jessica's asking, my gut has been saying the newsletter format's getting dated, not good for people's decreasing attention spans. We only do single message emails. Do you find either to be more or less effective? Jessica, if I was with you, I'd give you a hug. Yeah, I think what Jessica's saying, the newsletter format where it's, you know, this and it looks like a church brochure. Is that kind of what you mean, right? It's like a pamphlet and it's, like a buffet of things. Yeah, I do. That is quite dated and really only works for a small percentage of us, right? And especially with an agency model such as yours, if you can break from that format, oh my gosh, I'm getting, can you see my body language? I'm getting excited. So I think what Jessica's doing with the single message email is actually really smart. Hey, this is what I have to share with you today, right? It also lends to, Jessica, was it you who said monthly newsletters? No, I think that was Ashley. It also lends to you sending more newsletters. You wouldn't just send once a month because you have a single message. If you spent 3 months, just one single message, after 3 months, if neither any of those were not relevant to me, am I going to open up the fourth email? Probably not. And so I do recommend, even for an agency model, monthly is fine, but who wants to be fine? More of these single message newsletters of, hey, I saw this article that might help you. Hey, we just, we have 3 nannies, looking for a home. That sounds terrible. I don't know what you guys would say. Please, somebody tell me in the chat. Like we have more matching to do, right? Saying those things on a more consistent basis. Remember, I said stay top of mind. That's really important. And also, when you send those single message emails, that's a great term, Jessica. It's going to show you're invested in them. It's going to relate you to them over and over more frequently so that, the customer journey probably gets shorter, right? They probably will book faster. Yeah. So Ashley says, totally agree. Newsletters turned into single message emails distributed throughout the month. The last thing I'll say about that is the inbox and the mailbox are the same thing. So we go out to our mailbox, right? Oh, that's a bill. I'm going to put that, in the junk drawer. That's for John. Oh gosh, we've been divorced 3 years. What's this doing here? Trash, right? Oh, Danny sent me something. That's so weird. That's so awesome. I'm going to open it right away. All the rest of the mail, right? It just goes in the junk drawer. We open up Danny's letter right away. I wonder what's inside. We do the exact same thing with email within our inbox. Oh, that's a bill. That's on auto pay. Archive immediately. Oh, I don't remember signing up for this. Mark as spam. Oh my gosh, Ashley sent me something. I love Anytime Nanny. They always have these great single message newsletters. Let me open that up right now. I wonder what she has to say, right? It's the same. But with those single newsletters and with Jessica's point of, the decreased attention span, we want to be familiar. Oh, I know who Danny is. I know Jessica. I know Ashley. But we don't want to be predictable. We don't want to know what Danny says every single time, right? If Danny sent me that letter, I open it the first week. Oh, great. He sends me one a few days later. Oh, it's pretty much the same thing he said last week. Then he sends me another one. This is the third one in the row. That's pretty much the same. When the fourth one gets here, Danny, I don't have time right now. The kids are hungry. I'm not going to open it. I'll open it later. I like Danny, but enough. I'll open it later, and later becomes never, right? So that's another reason why I recommend, even if you send out the monthly newsletters, having something else on top of that, those single messages, when you have them. Oh, I found this article. It's a great way to, decrease screen time. I know that's important to you as a parent. Check it out. P.S. Don't forget, we're here to match you. Click here to book a call, right? It just breaks up that pattern. It makes you familiar. Oh yeah, Jessica, love her. Uh, I don't know what she has to say. She doesn't normally email me. Let me open this right away. So really just varying your content is incredibly important. Is that helpful? Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. Yay. I kind of like yes Q better. I love typos. I'm a millennial, so I speak typo. So don't feel like, you have to go back and correct yourself. So let's talk about this welcome sequence because it all and I mean, y'all know, and maybe you start an agency because you were a nanny or you were a parent that, had a nanny. When, that person goes into the home for the first time, it's really important. Like that's might be the most important day for the whole family, right? You've got to set a firm foundation, right? Or it's not gonna work, right? Um, that's for, the kids, for the nanny, for the parents. Everyone's got to be on the same page for this to work, right? For the relationship to be mutual and expansive, right? It's the same when someone joins your email list. We've got to set up that firm foundation. It's everything. It starts that friendship. And I'll drop down to this last bullet point really quick is it's most important to just set expectations, right? The same way as the very first time I met Zach and Abby, I had to set those expectations quick or they were going to run me ragged, right? We've all known nannies where it's like, oh, those kids, they're out of control. But really, if, the nanny had just set expectations, hey, this is how it's going to go, it probably would have gone a little better for everyone involved, right? So that's what we have to do with the welcome sequence. Set expectations. Hey, I'm going to email you about ABC. I'm going to email you on Tuesdays, or, I'm going to email you at least once a month. And when, we run our specials or, have someone new for you to meet or whatever, right? So just set the expectations right up front. Now, in order to make that connection and create that friendship, I want you to lead with three things: a little bit of personality, the vision you have for your clients, and the values that drive your brand. And this is really important when we're working with families, right? They've got to know, like, they've got to trust you, right? To match you. And so we say a little bit of personality, and this is very surface level, right? This is not, sharing everything, including your mother trauma, right? This is surface level stuff. Like, for example, I love Disney. I'm a one of those weird Disney adults. I still listen to In Sync, right? That's something that I share in my welcome sequence. I say, oh, I love the 90s. And this is just a relatability piece. Remember, to turn someone into a friend, they have to be able to relate to you. And maybe for you, it's just, I have 5 kids of my own. Or, I was a nanny and that's how I got through college. And I realized, this was a problem in the agency service. And now I created my own brand around it, right? So, what is a little bit of that personality that you can share? And again, surface level, we don't have to go deep here. That's what subsequent newsletters are for. That's what getting on the phone with them is for, right? Just surface level. Then the vision. And this is the most fun because it's unique to you. Sure, we're all doing the same thing on this call, but we all have just a little different vision for people. Again, my vision, I want you to make money with email. That's all I care about. I don't know anything else except email with you. I don't know how you should act on the phone. I don't know even the right language, but dang it, I care about your email marketing, right? And so that's my vision for you. And so, what is the vision? And I'd love to hear in the chat if you're open, like, what is the vision that you have for your clients, right? I can assume it's something like, I said earlier, the right nanny for the right kids for the right family, something like that. That's got to be right up front and center. They just got on your bus. They need to know where you're driving them, right? What is the destination? What is that vision you have? And honestly, this is where a lot of brands, especially agencies and like consulting and service providers, they miss the mark because they think it's so obvious. Of course, I help people with XYZ. Of course, I'm doing it for this reason. But when we put it in writing and we put it right in front of them at the very beginning, okay, I'm in the right place. Ashley's here to help me. Danny's here to help me. Liz is here to help me. That's exactly where I want to go. What a coincidence. I'm so glad I joined this list, right? It's a sigh of relief. And then the values. And I think this is especially important for what you do, right? You're working with families, probably overtaxed and stressed out families. They want to know that they can trust you, to do this amazing service. That's literally going to change their family dynamic, right? That's what you do. You're changing the family dynamic for the best way possible. They have to know that, the way you do business and the values that you have align with them, right? So we want to share in our welcome sequence our values. And this isn't to say spew your politics. No, don't do that. Oh my gosh. I think we're all sick of that. But there are certain principles that drive the way you do business. Maybe your agency works with XYZ type of family over anyone else. Why? Right? One of my values is accessibility. I come from an education background, and I believe everyone has the right to learn, the right to an education. That's why a lot of my products, I joked about my main offer being $9. It's $9 because of that very firm value, right? It's not because I think my stuff is garbage or, I have money mindset issues. It's because of the values I have, right? And the reason you got into this type of agent, you could have run any agency, you could have been a copywriter. Why did you do this? Why did you create the Nanny League? Why do you work specifically for Heaven's Reflection Nanny Agency, right? I love Kate's name is a perfect fit. Even the way you've named your agency, there's probably a value set behind that. So sharing that in the welcome sequence is going to endear you to the right families, right? And, raise your hand if you've ever worked with the wrong family. It's like, oh gosh, I wish I wouldn't have taken them as a client. Like, oh, and I see Danny laughing, like, it's so true, right? And so when we share a little bit of personality, we affirm that vision and we share our value set, it really endears us to the right people. And, oh yes, I love what Ashley's saying. I'm definitely booking with the Nanny League. That's who I want to match me. That's who I want to help me take care of, little Danny, right? Like these are their loved ones, right? So really sharing these three things is really important. Do we have any questions? I'm on a roll. I'm like way ahead of schedule, guys. You guys are so attentive. Is there something people think they should do in an email or with email, but it's a no-no? I think we kind of covered. I mean, you can tell stories if you want to tell stories. Danny and I actually met through another email marketer who is like huge on storytelling. But I think for your model, like when you listen to podcasts and you Google email marketing, a lot of email marketers, especially right now, are telling people, "Oh, tell stories, tell stories." But I don't think you need to. I think if and when you have a great story, like your brand story, your origin story, that is a great one to tell. Like why I got into this and why, we call ourselves Heaven's Reflection. That's a great story. But in those monthly newsletters, in those one-off single message emails, don't feel like you have to tell a story. You can just give that personal update. Last week, we matched 3 families. Liz's family gave me permission to share a picture. Here they are at the dinner table. Like, oh my gosh, that tells a much better story than we could ever write. Like, we are agency owners, we're not writers, right? And so, don't feel like you have to tell a story when a few words will do. Another one, speaking of pictures, pictures do really well with email. You don't want 1,000,001, just one picture, maybe once a quarter, once every other month, can go a long way. Maybe you send an email, meet the team, or our team is expanding, here's Jenny. And, you've got a picture of, Jenny in the office or whatever. That I think that can go a long way. Great question. Jessica asks what everyone wants to know. What is an above average open rate to strive for? And I say it with love, and you probably won't like this answer, but whatever your open rate is right now, just try to get it 1% higher. And then next month, I'm going to tell you the same thing. There's no real average open rate. Your business is unique. Who knows if any of those surveys out there are surveying nanny agencies, right? Like, who knows what that average open rate is? But I will tell you what I've seen when people follow the email staircase, we do see above average results. Like I mentioned, my open rate is 60% over the last 90 days. I skipped over this part, but I did a launch and I had 141 purchases out of 141 people on the list. And that's 100% conversion rate, right? And that's because I was following this email staircase. So I don't know what your average open rate should be. I don't know what you should strive for, because if I told you, oh, strive 40% is great, and you're like, well, I'm at 45%. I'm going to take a smoke break now because I'm good, right? But you always want to just go a little, better than you did last time, right? So I'd always just be saying, okay, well, it was 20% last week. How can I get it to 21% this week? And I will tell you guys this, as far as, getting that open rate up and keeping an engaged list. The first thing I want you to do is look at who on your email list is not opening actively. I don't know, maybe you've been growing your list for 3, 5, 10 years, and you've never done what is called a cold scrub. Like, put in the chat if you've ever done a cold scrub. That's where you remove the people from your list that have never or aren't opening and haven't opened in the last 90 days. This is incredibly important for a few reasons. Number one, it brings your average open rate down, right? These people aren't opening. You're sending and sending and sending, especially after this. You're super charged up. You're definitely sending an email, right? But those people, they're pulling down that average open rate. So we need to get them off the list, right? The second reason, and I know it's super cringe, like, oh my gosh, I worked so hard. Why you're telling me to just delete people? Are you mad? It actually does a number on your deliverability. So your ability to actually land in the inbox is affected by the number of people that aren't opening your emails. This isn't a scare tactic. It's actually, a good reason to just get those people off your list. Because every time you send an email, let's say I send an email out right now, Danny opens, Ashley opens, Tarnisha doesn't open, Jenny doesn't open, Kelly doesn't open, Kate doesn't open, right? So I've got 2 green flags. The internet gods are giving me 2 green flags with Danny and Ashley, but they just gave me 4 red flags. Oh man, I gotta do something about those red flags. You get enough red flags, you go into spam. You get even more red flags, they just don't deliver you at all. So we definitely want to, maybe this is your first action item. Definitely just, get those people that haven't opened your emails in a while off your list. And your CRM or your email service provider should be tracking those for you, because that is, something they don't want either. Because if you get a red flag, they get a red flag because they're sending emails on your behalf, right? And so they're actively segmenting those cold, they call them cold subscribers, from your email list for you, because they want you to stop emailing them. So let me know if you have any questions about that. I don't know if that was a new concept or I'd love to hear if you've done it. Jessica says, do you have a preferred email service platform? I personally love ConvertKit. It's just enough, bells and whistles without being overwhelming. I don't like MailChimp. I think it's terrible and I'm being recorded. So, if you ever see me being sponsored by MailChimp, I'm a sellout. Uh, but MailChimp is just, it works with different lists, but it counts those lists. Like even if Danny was on both lists, it's counting 2 of you and it might be charging me for 2 of you. And Maria, it's terrible because it's just not very user intuitive. Very rarely do I find someone in the last 8 years of doing email marketing, have I found someone who says, oh my gosh, I love MailChimp. I mean, I think I've heard one person out of thousands. So that is truly the only one I really don't recommend because I want you to enjoy email marketing. And if you log into an email service provider and you don't understand how it works, you're probably, gonna repel from it. Oh, I guess I'm not doing email today. So I recommend ConvertKit, but I actually, if you give me a second, I have a blog post because what I really recommend over whatever Liz Wilcox says is that you find the one that works the best for your brain and your budget. So my brain and budget are much different than yours. And so I'd recommend taking a look at this blog post. I'm going to put it in the chat in just a second and just looking at a few of them and going on YouTube, setting a timer for 20 minutes. And okay, Liz said MailChimp is terrible, but I've heard good things. I'm going to go watch an over-the-shoulder video of MailChimp and Constant Contact and ConvertKit. And I'm just going to put 20 minutes on the clock. And after 20 minutes, I'm going to have a good feel for which one I should go for, right? So there's a blog post in the chat, and I'll give it to Danny to send out if we're doing a replay or whatever. That really tells you like, oh, let's define what we want to do with email. What features do I need to have in order to do those objectives? Do I need to set a budget? And then I give you, I think there's 8 of the most like common ones. So inside that blog post, Maria, I recommend ConvertKit, and I believe there is a link to ConvertKit in that. Yeah. Okay. So do we want to get into, do you guys want to go further? We've got about, 10 minutes? And I can give you kind of what I recommend your welcome sequence look like. And also, you can go directly to lizwilcox.com or Danny can put it in the chat and get a welcome sequence. That's pretty much written for you. You just kind of fill in the blanks. All right, let me find it. Okay. So I really recommend like 3 or 4 emails. And the first email, again, I'm not sure how people are getting on your email list, but I recommend I say delivery because a lot of people have some sort of freebie, lead magnet, opt-in incentive to join the list. Join the list and get, this download or whatever. Now, if you don't have that, that's totally fine. But I do recommend giving a little bit extra here of, hey, you just joined my list as a thank you. I'd love for you to have this. Right? And then this is where the quick intro comes in also. Oh, by the way, I'm Jessica with such and such agency. Excited you're here. And this is where you share a little bit of your personality and the vision. If you only know 2 things about me and this agency, it's that, as much as we still listen to 90s boy bands, we love the idea of you finding the perfect nanny, for your children. Whatever, right? Hopefully your vision is a little clearer. It's not so vague. Hopefully it's a little clearer. Like finding the right nanny for your children, to grow with you for the next 10 years, or, like whatever, right? So share that personality piece and the vision right there in the first email. And again, if you can't conceptualize this, you can just go to lizwilcox.com. There's a hot pink button. You can't miss it. And these are already written for you. The second email is your best content. Now you might, Liz, I'm an agency. I'm not a content creator. You don't have to be a content creator to have a piece of content. This is where you could, share your origin story or share, some of your values. Your best content might just be, hey, these are our values and this is how we do things around here, right? These are the types of nannies we place. These are the types of families we love to work with. Is that you? What I really like and what I recommend is this email actually being a video. And I know video, just a 90-second video. Hey, you just joined, and you could even, if up to you, again, deviate according to your gut. You could probably even combine emails 1 and 2 if you really wanted to, and make this short video and put it in this first email. Anyway, the video is just, hey, by the way, I'm Liz. I own such and such agency. I wanted to personally welcome you and let you know, like, the number one thing we believe around here, or the number one tip we have when considering using an agency to match you with a nanny. Boom. I know I just said that. I know you're already thinking, oh, yeah, this is my number one tip, or, this is how we do things around here, right? And so just really quick and then get out of there, right? These are busy families. They need a nanny, for heaven's sakes, right? They're busy people. And so, okay, just wanted to personally welcome you, share that little piece of information. If you need anything, just hit reply to this email or you can book a call. I'll put that in the PS. Thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate it. And again, it's about that connection piece. And when you're working with families, the quicker you can make that connection, the shorter that customer journey is going to be, right? And so showing your face or having a team member, whoever's head of sales or whatever, make this little video showing your face. It's going to be, the difference between a 6-month customer journey and then, possibly getting on the phone with you in the next few days. We all know, like somebody in the chat was saying, oh, usually via form on our site, a phone call, if you can get someone on the phone, if you can talk and, walk them through things, that really helps with the customer journey as well. And to get them on the phone, if they just signed up from a form, like, oh, I'm not going to get on the phone yet. I'm kind of interested, but my wife's not on board yet. If you can show your face first, especially they're not going to expect that. They're not going to expect video and email don't equate, right? So it's, oh, wow. It's going to do wonders for you. And we already talked about this at length, but this next email should really just set those expectations. I'm going to email you these many times a month. I'm going to share with you, our services, packages, and even, tips on hiring a nanny or what to know when you're working with a service like mine. Maybe you even just share like fun parenting tips or, silly things, depending on your personality, your brand personality, and what the agency does, right? Just share what kind of content. And really here, you also have to say, like, when you're on this list, like, we're going to work with you to, match you with the right nanny or whatever language you use, right? Just tell them up front, hey, this is the purpose of the newsletter. I want to help you do this, right? Maybe you can reiterate that vision that you shared first. Hey, remember, around here, we want to help you XYZ. We do that through, paid matching services, free content on our Instagram, and these weekly newsletters, something like that. Just reiterate, hey, we're here to match you. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's our main thing. And then the fourth email, this is just a solid pitch, my friends, especially as an agency. Again, I just said in that third email you share, but then you want to send this follow-up email. Just share, hey, this is who our service is for, and this is why it's the right solution for you. Now, not everybody and their mother is going to book from this email. Is going to get on a call with you. Oh, my prayers have been answered, right? But again, we're setting that firm foundation up. Okay, yes, this is their main service. This is how it's run. This is who it's for. Okay, that's me. This is okay. I know it's the right solution, but maybe it's not the right time. I'm going to stay on the list, right? Or, oh my gosh, answered prayer. Boop, 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 boop. Danny, is that you? Maria, are you there? I needed you yesterday. Where have you been? Right? But we've got to send this individual email. Just again, let's set the tone. It's called email marketing, right? And they're actively searching for a solution or they wouldn't have been on your list. So just, get it out of the way. Remember, you got to sell. How did I know? She never told me. We never want to be that guy, right? So, give it a solid pitch. Tell them who it's for, why you're the right solution. You can even mix in that personality, vision, and values into this email, to really drive it home that you're the one for them, and then get out of there. All right. That's the main stuff. Wow. I ended right on time, but I do have a couple minutes if anybody's got questions. How'd I do, Danny?
I mean, I'm a fan, so I've already been sold. You're fantastic. Thanks for everything, you've shared. I really appreciate it. I think we all do.
Okay. Yeah. And truly, I know I'm so glad Danny connected us because I know in this, when you go online to find email marketing, it's very online business to business to business to business. It can kind of feel like, I don't know, it's incestuous. Is that a bad word here? I don't know. And so if you have questions, I say all that to say, if you have questions, please, you can find me on social media. My name's Liz Wilcox. You can join my email list. Danny put it in the chat, lizwilcox.com, hot pink button. Please ask me questions. I'm in my inbox. My assistant is there too, but I'm in there too. If she can't answer it, I'm in there every day answering questions. I want to make sure that this makes sense for you and you know your next right step. So don't hesitate to reach out. I really want this to work for you. And that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Jacqueline, I'm so glad you thought it was great. Please come hang out with me. I love working with, people that are actually doing something. And, I really do have that connection, being a nanny so long. So I love that this is even a thing. I think it's so cool. Yeah, I think we're going to get a recording, right?
Totally. We'll put it in
I mean, if
we'll put
not,
it in our
I just said
community.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have to do it.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And yeah, just check me out, lizwilcox.com. You're going to get this welcome sequence already written for you. You can plug and play. If you've got questions, just hit reply to any email I send you. Hey, Liz, you were on that and I don't get it. Help me. I'll help you out. Probably send you a Loom recording. Like I was saying, I love video. So
Perfect. Well, thanks again, Liz. And then thank you everyone for joining us. And I'll be sure to post this as Liz requested in our community and on the site in general.
awesome. Well, thank you guys.